What's going on, people? Welcome to United View. Welcome to your match preview and a little bit of a press conference reaction for our last game of the season. Thank God, finally, about time against Crystal Palace on Sunday, 3 p.m. Last game of the season, Owen. Ralph's had a lot to say in the presser. We'll talk about the team news, how we see this game's going to go, how important it is, because Ralph did speak about, it's better to play in the Europa League than Conference League. The players are playing for that. Quite a lot to get into, to be fair. Even though it's a game we can't wait for the end of the season to come, there is a bit to get into.
Yeah, there is a bit to get into. I mean, the game is very secondary. I think the question in the press conference to Ralph about team news was almost out of courtesy to be like, we are here to talk about the match. So we're going to have to ask you a question about the match. We're going to ask you a question about team news. And even Ralph himself went, got a few injuries, won't say what they are. And that was about it. And then they just asked about other stuff, because not to say that nobody cares. You always care about a match, but given the status of our season, I know Ralph did say, look, we still do have to qualify for the Europa League. We prefer to qualify for the Europa League over the Conference League, which of course we would. But everyone, fans, the club, the players are all looking forward to Erik Ten Hag, all looking forward to the summer, looking forward to next season, and just putting this one firmly where it belongs, and that's in the rearview mirror. That's the case.
I wasn't even doing one of them. I was just.
I know. I was going to say. I was wondering. I was wondering what I said.
What
did
you say? Yeah, I'm like, really, Owen? Really?
I was thinking. I'm not sure I said anything that controversial, but we'll go with it. It's fine.
You didn't. I was just really annoyed by. Yeah, I was just annoyed at my height. Agreed. Exactly. He did get into quite a bit. Let's get into some of the things that he said, because some of the things that he was saying, I think, have been interpreted badly or wrongly earlier on today in the presser. As we know, it's still not, depending on when you're watching, but it's still not got that 10 sweet spot, where you get the embargoed section. There's going to be probably some more gems in there. But the bit where Ralph is talking about, the job that he's done in the past at Hoffenheim and Leipzig and what Ten Hag's done in the past, and talking about Manchester United being able to develop players, get players who want to take the next step in their career and being able to sell, then goes on to say, I'm not saying Man United is a selling club, but it's part, adding value to players so that whenever you do sell them, which is, let's not get it twisted. We're acting like we've got a great record of selling players on for a great price. We're shocking at that. We're disgusting. Look at Wan-Bissaka, who we're trying to sell. We're not going to get anywhere near 50. Let's not even talk about Harry Maguire. Dan James, I always remember you saying he's our third most highest expensive sale. Third, is it?
Yeah, third. It's like
after
third.
What's that? Must be after Beckham and Ronaldo then.
Yeah, Ronaldo's definitely the top. The second, it might be Beckham, something like that. Like, again, and bear in mind, you'd think, did Danny James go for a lot of money? What he went for, about 25 million, something like that? It's not even a lot. It's not even a big fee, and it's the third highest in Manchester United's history, which maybe, again, that's what Ralph means by that. But I agree with you. I did see some people misinterpreting that, or sometimes we do live in the day and age of social media, of course, so you've only got 240 characters, right? So the problem is that sometimes when Ralph's doing a big speech or a big quote, you can't fit it all in. You have to stop somewhere. And United fans think we're not a selling club, and we're not. But Ralph himself did say that. He said, I've been at clubs that were selling clubs or developing clubs, like Hoffenheim, like Leipzig, like Salzburg. And then he literally says 2 seconds later, Manchester United are not a selling club. They're a buying and developing club. But I think his point is that they just have to be more astute in the transfer market, which is hardly rocket science. Everyone knows that anyway. I think he's just pointing out the obvious.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he pointed out the obvious. It's almost like he knew, I know what's going to happen here. Everyone's going to think I'm trying to say Man United need to turn into a feeder club. That's not exactly that. If you listen to the context of what he was saying, and not even listen, if you read the whole transcript of what he said, if you can't be bothered to watch it, or you haven't got time, or whatever, or vice versa, you will clearly see the tone of what was going on wasn't that small little bit that's in 240 characters. He said that there's players missing, but we don't really know a lot about that. He said Sancho and Jones, but there is more, but we don't really know. But I want to skip that, because actually I want to get to the meat of it, conference versus Europa, because I know as fans, I can speak for myself anyway. I've been a bit much like, first of all, I was like, be out of everything. Just be out of everything. That's what Man United deserve. Then I flirted with different emotions, and I was like, good. They deserve Conference League. Go and fly to Timbuktu as punishment for your shit season. But then again, I'm thinking, I don't want Ten Hag to inherit too much shit. A Europa League position is actually decent for him, if you think about it, because he's going to be building a new squad, new players. It'll give him more games. Some people say it's a bad thing. Exactly. He could get a trophy in his first season. It's another way of qualifying for the Champions League, when I think that'll be beyond us finishing fourth. So actually, I've calmed down, because we always do it after games, don't we? You just lost 4-0 to Brighton, and it's like, oh, what do you reckon's going to happen against Palace? I don't care, mate. Did you see that shit? Like, we were crap. Good. Make them get battered by Palace and go in Europa in conference. That's what they deserve. But now you're starting to see Ten Hag coming in, and, there's movements, and he's got a plan. You want to finish as best as possible. I kind of do want Europa League now, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, you do, and the Europa League is a strange competition because, I would assume, and I would assume it's the same as like with the Europa Conference League, right? Nobody really cares about it until you get to maybe a semi-final. Once you get to the semi-final, you start thinking to yourself, "Oh, it is a trophy." You watch that game in the week between Frankfurt and Rangers. Whilst they were, say smaller clubs, but sort of lesser clubs in terms of quality, you can't argue that the occasion didn't feel big. And you are competing for a European trophy at the end of the day. And I'm not trying to justify United being in there. Obviously, we don't want to be in that competition. We want to be in the Champions League. Historically, maybe not right now, but historically, that's where we deserve to be. But I'm all for options next season because, like you say, we're very quick to say top 4, big ask for Erik Ten Hag in his first season, massive ask. So we're first to say that, and if we are first to say that, it's always good to have that Europa League option in your back pocket because you might need it. If we get to a point in January next season and we're still in the Europa League and we're quite far off the top 4, if we say like 6th, but it's like those clubs in the top 4 are really, really good, like that's going to be a challenge. Then you have to put your eggs in that basket, in that Europa League basket. And again, the Europa League is such a strange competition because if we were in the final of it this year, say, either against Frankfurt or Rangers, you'd be like, I know we're crap, but I fancy us. But next season,
Rangers, I don't know. Even though Frankfurt done them, but I get what you mean.
But next season we could be going up against a side that dropped out from the Champions League and is very, very good. It could be a really strong final. That could
be Arsenal.
Nearly was
last year. Nearly was.
You never know. So,
didn't they? Yeah.
So again, it's just a difficult competition. But ultimately, look, we'd rather be in that competition than the Europa Conference League. I think it's good for, like you said, more games for Ten Hag to put his system and his tactics and his philosophy into the United side. And if he wins a trophy, he'd have done something that Ole didn't do in 3 years, and that was a big point of contention for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. If he'd have won the Europa League, he might have made it to the end of this season because he'd have had that trophy in his back pocket of at least I've won something. That can buy you a lot of time if it's not going particularly well or it's a bit difficult. You're going through those difficult periods, you can always point to a trophy. So that's not to say that I think we're going to win it because I have no idea who's going to be in it next season, but it's not a bad thing. But
we have to. I remember when Ole was doing poorly or up and downish. I remember when we got to the semi-finals of the FA Cup against Leicester. And I remember thinking if we can win this FA Cup, I know we might be off it in the league, but it just breeds a bit of winning mentality. I think when it was the Europa League year before last, when we got knocked out by Sevilla, was 1-0 up at half time, weren't we? Penalty. Then we had that great period after second half, and we was all over them, couldn't score, and then we let it slip. Remember Brandon Williams not doing enough, stopping the cross, etc., etc. Luke de Jong got in, but I remember saying in that campaign, again, it looks like we might finish like second in the league if we can win the Europa. This, it gives Ole that first thing. I remember getting to the semi-final of the FA Cup against Chelsea because we actually did get to the last stages quite a bit with Ole.
And that was
all them semi-finals bottled. What was it? 5
exactly.
semi-finals or 4 semi-finals or
something like that? Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So you forget like you said, the margins that it can be. And so if Ten Hag can win anything, even a League Cup, if he can win anything in his first season, it'd be massive. And I know the rivals will say, look at little old United, happy to win an EFL Cup or happy to win Europa League. But we know we got to get our own shit in order. And we know what that would mean for the likes of Ten Hag in his first season, sorting out this mess. Do you know what I'm saying? So I agree. I agree with what you're saying. He's got to try and get something. So it is better to be in the Europa League.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you look at maybe say Arsenal, Arteta when he won that FA Cup, it buys you time.
It bought him loads of cheese. He's still living off it now.
I know, exactly. But it does. It's true. And the Arsenal fans will still talk about it. They'll go, they won that FA Cup when we were rubbish with that, was it? I can't remember, but they played like a back three or whatever against a Chelsea side that nobody thought Arsenal was going to win that at the time as well. Nobody. Yeah. And it does buy you time. It gives you a little bit of, well, maybe.
And they beat City as well, isn't it?
Yeah. So, you know, it is a big deal. So, yeah, I obviously want to be in the Europa League over the Conference League. And I'm sure Ten Hag would as well, right?
Yeah.
Of course he would. So
100%. Yeah. Ralph also confirmed that he's been speaking to Erik Ten Hag on WhatsApp.
Yes.
On WhatsApp.
Is there a group?
You know?
Is there a group?
Thinking, do you know what? I was thinking all kind of KG-isms. I was thinking KG conspiracy theories. He'd be like, well, what's the voice note saying? Who's in the group? Is McPhelan in the group? Is he allowed in there? Or is it just a single pathway with just Ten Hag and just Ralph? Or is Van der Gaag in there as well? He's talking. Is McLaren in there and the other coaches? Or is it just Ralph and just Eric in the normal convo? I think it could be that.
Yeah, I think it could be that.
Do you think they voice note?
I don't know. I was just about to say that because if so, it'd be a lot of you started off as I said, you know, Dylan. That's what it would be. And do you reckon they would have the similar situations like when we're doing voice notes? When I get this all the time from Josh, he'll start doing a voice note and then it will cut off and he'll go, "Stupid voice note thing." Cuts off. I don't know what to do.
Would you reckon? Would you reckon Ralph's display pic is on WhatsApp?
That is an interesting one. I'm not sure.
That's a mad question, isn't it?
Yeah. Ten Hag's is him. Ten Hag's is that picture that came out from Ajax recently, you know, when he's standing by all his trophies. That's Eric's.
Yeah. It was looking like Eric's. A boss. Yeah.
Ralph. I'm not sure what Ralph's would be, actually.
I think he has like a little poster thing made that says Gegenpress. Just says that in a little circle thing. Yeah, Gegenpress. So I think, or his is, I don't know. You know, you can put your name different or whatever. I think his is like Gegenpress Don or something like that. Yeah, Professor Ralph or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, I felt definitely watching it. Like I said, he said that he had spoken. I said, like I said, then. Oh, yeah, it's rubbing off on me. But yeah, he said that he had spoken to him on WhatsApp and then said, we're going to hopefully talk either this weekend or the latest on Monday. He came across as a guy in that press conference that doesn't think, oh, I don't know what I'm going to be doing at Manchester United. It felt like this is a guy that is going to be sticking around in some form. We know he's going to be the Austrian manager, but when he was asked later on, do you have extra clarity on what your role is going to be or what your role is going to be under Erik Ten Hag? He was like, yep.
And I said we spoke about that in detail as well.
Exactly. And that's where that quote came from earlier with him saying, and I think it's pretty obvious as to what that role would be, because basically said at Leipzig, at Salzburg, at Hoffenheim, everywhere I've been, I've signed good players and I can find good players and I can scout good players. So it would be a bit silly for me not to be involved in recruitment. And he also said, like, we need to be looking at players that have a good mentality of player. That's what we need to be looking at. And he said, it's not going to happen in one transfer window. It's going to take 2, 3 or 4. But he does believe if we find those right mentality players, Man United can become, you know, or rise back to the prominence that they once were. Again, it will take time, but he sort of came across as a guy of like, no, you know, before when he was asked, what's your role going to be? He was like, I don't know. I know what my role is going to be. He wasn't like that today.
It doesn't make sense to speak about that now.
Yeah. He was like, now, yeah, well, I think it's pretty obvious what my role is going to be, you know, and that's a stark contrast to what he was saying before. So the fact that they've spoken on WhatsApp and they've spoken in detail about his role implies
and they're yet to meet. They're going to meet as well by the latest Monday, he said.
Exactly. Those conversations, I think, initially were based on, okay, Eric, how do I fit in? And Eric said, this is how I think you fit in. And they've gone, okay. I think the conversation, whether it's over the weekend or Monday, is more about, okay, tell me about these players. Let me know who do you like? Who don't you like? Who's an issue? All that kind of stuff. I think that's coming. But Ten Hag's been in the UK this week to sort out the final details of being the United manager, mainly the structure, his backroom staff, and how everything's going to work together. He's putting the pieces together. One of those pieces appears to be Ralph in terms of recruitment, which is positive. Ralph hasn't been involved in recruitment until now. I must stress that. But it does look like he's going to be involved somehow. And I said before, as an international manager, that does work because when you're not like coaching the sides in international breaks, you're traveling to games, you're watching players, so that's what he's going to be doing anyway. So go to games and let Ten Hag or John Murtough or whoever know, saw this player, take a look. Here's his
that's the bit
agent
where they go,
or
now
whatever.
we're right.
Yeah, yeah, we're fine.
I'm still not. I don't know. I don't know if it's because I'm just being a bit pessimistic, like some people accuse me of, KG. But I just need to see it in action, man. I just feel like after 9 months, a year, or whatever, I don't know. I just see Ralph just going further and further away. I don't know. I hope I'm wrong because I do agree with what you're saying. Like the way he came across in that seemed like he had some really, really good positive talks with Ten Hag and was like, yeah, my role's going to be this. And I do agree. It came across like that. I just know Man United. I just know Man United. I'll be shocked if, we're still hearing from him because I don't think he'd give interviews or anything like that, would he? But maybe Ten Hag would
No, he
probably get
doesn't need
asked in the
to.
press conferences, when's the
Yeah,
last time you spoke to Ralph or when new arrivals happen, maybe in January or whenever as we're building, or if new signings come and do well or whatever, they could refer back to Ralph in press conferences and say, Eric, how much of a influence was Ralph in these decisions? And he might reveal at that point, I speak to him once a week. He might drop something. Do you know what I mean? So I
yeah.
don't know. I'll stand to be corrected, but I've got a feeling that he just do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I just
or
got
you
a
wait for
feeling.
that first international break when he's having his Austria press conference and they say, "How's it going with United? Have you been speaking to Eric Ten Hag?" And he
Yeah,
either goes,
true,
"Yep,"
true.
or he goes, "No."
Yeah. It
That's
doesn't
the
make sense
difference
to
there.
talk about this now. I'm preparing for Austria.
Yeah,
Austria, the team
we're
is
here to
here.
talk about Austria, so I'm not sure that's the
That
right
is
time to really
classic Ralph.
talk
It
about it.
never makes sense. Nothing may ever make sense to Ralph.
No, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for it to do that. And then when
Uh,
he does go to the board and says, "Doesn't it make sense we go for a striker?" They go, "No." And he's like, "Well, this is the time for it to make sense." What?
yeah.
What? He lives off sense. That's what he
Yeah,
does.
he does. He does. We do have a game. We do have a game.
Yes.
It is the last game of the season. It's away at Palace, and they are coming off the back of a loss against Everton, which had everything in it. What a game! So
Yeah.
Everton got their safety from it. Vieira's kicking people up, rightly so.
Yeah.
But having said all of that, I think the emotion of that game and the sheer 12th man of the Everton fans, contributed to Palace capitulating basically because 2-0 up at half time, that's it. Everton should be as good
Yeah.
as down, but they weren't. But I don't think me personally, I don't take anything from that to say, oh, see, Palace a little bit dodge. For me,
Yeah.
I'm not saying Palace are perfect because they're not, but at home they're very strong. It's their last home game of the season. That stuff that happened at the end, the pitch invasion and all that, and I think Vieira's gonna be pissed off. And even if, regardless of that, whether that did or didn't happen, his team's going to be up for this. He's got a very energetic team, especially at home. Atmospheres we rocking. It's their last game of the season. I think this will be a really tough game for Man United. One that I can't see us winning. I still stand by that.
Yeah, I do agree. I think that for clubs, especially like Palace, sometimes when they're almost away from home, the expectation is to kind of lose because that's the club. They're basically their motto is if we're going to stay in the division or we're going to have a good season, we've got to win the majority of our home games, and then everything else on the road's a bonus. And they've pretty much done their home record's very good because it's intimidating. Selhurst Park's a
Very,
great atmosphere,
yeah.
really good atmosphere. Mix that with a United side that I mean, I'm done of going, oh, we're going to see a reaction because Ten Hag's in the
Oh
stands. We're not going to see a reaction.
no, no,
We just won't.
no.
So it's a United side that can't really be bothered on their best day. Like you said,
And
I
this
wouldn't be
literally is their
shocked.
worst. Last day of the
Yeah.
season, it can't just players aren't even. I'm not questioning why players aren't there, but you said there's a lot missing.
Yeah.
So more
Even on
even on
paper, it's not our
paper.
strongest side. So, yeah, I wouldn't be shocked about it. And to be honest, it would be somewhat of a fitting end to this season, wouldn't it? To go out with just a massive whimper and just be like,
Yeah,
okay, it's over. What did you think, though? Actually, speaking about the players, when Rangnick said, "I strongly believe that there is a core of players that are top. If we bring
yeah,
in the right players, I still
yeah.
believe we can bring this club back to the
That's
top."
a really
Do you
good, interesting
agree?
point.
There's Do you agree there's a core of players there that are top at Manchester United?
Nah, not top.
Ask,
Nah, I
what counts
don't.
as a core?
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. He might be only talking about two,
Yeah.
in De Gea and Ronaldo. But no, I think if I was to make a call, because let's bring to the forefront a little bit of news from earlier that was in the day, that Wan-Bissaka's representatives have been informed that he's surplus. Brandon Williams has been informed, and it's out there that Ten Hag has listed that Man United are happy to listen to offers for him. So we know a new fullback's going to arrive, or one's going to get promoted, because Dallow's been given assurances that he will stay. So there's that. But Ten Hag, I think there will be a little group of players that he will probably like. Yeah, there has to be. I look at, if I'm going off the top of my head, you got Sancho, definitely. Ronaldo and De Gea, obviously, definitely. Varane is in there just because he's Varane and he's only been there a year. He gets in there by default.
Yeah. You say that like Sancho's a young player involved in that, but the rest are all like 30, plus.
It's nothing to build around.
No, it's not
Do you know what I mean?
much.
No,
it's not really. Like I said, it's not a core that's like. I don't even know if I'd classify them as core, because it's like, well, yeah, they're great players, but the core is what you build the team around. Yeah, they'll be fundamental pillars of the team next season, but they're not.
But the word core,
the
word core, I think, needs to be used quite loosely. Like, it can't.
Yes.
The definition needs to be shifted. Of, like you said, not a traditional core, not like maybe an apple core or something. I don't know. Like just. I don't even know how that correlates, but not the traditional core of what you're saying, because you're right. That'll be something that we could build around. Like, if I'm being like honest as well, he's gonna like Rashford. I think he will. I think I honestly think. Forget what we've been saying, because I agree with the criticism of Rashford, but I think Ten Hag will see that as a real challenge. Something to get his teeth into and turn around and say, "See, this is why I'm such a good coach. Look." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Alanga is another one. I think he'll like Alanga. He'll like McTominay. I think he'll like McTominay as well, and Fred.
Yeah, well,
I actually do think he'll like them.
Yeah, I agree. There will certainly be players at the club that haven't performed well this season that Ten Hag will think, I think I can get more out of them. I think they can play better than what they are. And there are a lot of players at United at the moment that are a bit like that. Yeah, that are like, certainly they can do better than that. I know they can do better than that. There certainly will be players that he's like, no, that's why Wan-Bissaka's going. Because
I do feel a little. I don't feel sorry for him, because it's standards, isn't it? Like, we've all been saying it for a while, and it's not a. Because I know you lot are watching it live now and saying, guys, Flex, stop it. It's too much. The problem with this club, too much sympathy. But I'm just saying, like, after all the, like, obviously we have our last Wan-Bissaka, and we say this and we say that. The managers are all backing it up. Even Ollie was trying to get him out to get Trippier.
Yeah, it's not a diss.
Walked straight through the door, and he's like, "See you later, mate. You're the first one."
It's not like a diss or anything like that. It's just a case of, football, especially at elite level, is a ruthless sport, and it should be. And every manager has done the top manager. Pep did it with Joe Hart. I've done it. I appreciate what you've done here, but you're not good enough. Klopp, Benteke comes into Liverpool. Sorry, I know you got bought for a lot, but you're just not what I'm looking for. I don't think you're good enough for this level.
We weren't even great before that as well.
Exactly, and that's why when it was a couple of weeks ago, I think, with Brandon Williams, wasn't it, going, oh, he's looking forward to coming back to United and wants to fight for a spot. I was like, well, sorry, mate, but you've gone to Norwich. They've got relegated, and I'm hardly looking at that Norwich side going, yeah, Brandon Williams has really stood out in that. Unfortunately, that's the case. You went on loan to get experience and to prove yourself. Not to say that you haven't, but I guess you haven't, really.
He can move. He can play for Bournemouth or Forest if they come up.
It's not to say he might not be a Premier League player.
Yeah, I think he will.
But not a Man United player. And unfortunately, that's Premier League football. That's what it has to be. It has to be ruthless at a Premier League club like Manchester United. And I'm glad of it. Again, I will believe it when I see it, because there's still part of my brain that goes, Wan-Bissaka, first game of the season. We've run out of right backs or whatever, and because who knows, right? Who knows?
Yeah, no, it's true. But just, all in all, to the game, I see us losing, but I'm not sure if because let's talk about trying to attain the Europa League spot.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if I see West Ham doing Brighton, that's the one. So I think we might get away with losing, because I think West Ham need to win. They can't draw even if we lose. They need a W. So I think we might get it by default. You never know. Might be able to nick a draw at Palace, maybe. But I'll be stunned if we win. I'll be stunned if Palace weren't at it and putting it on us, and I'll be stunned if it had that pre-season feel or post-season feel where both teams are just kind of walking like it's not really what I expected. I'll be stunned.
And they'll get chances. Make no
Yeah,
mistake about it. They
massively.
will get chances. They'll create several chances. Zaha, if he plays, I mean, it doesn't matter what side he's on. Let's be honest, really.
No, it doesn't.
It
I was
doesn't
going to
matter
say
what
it
side.
doesn't.
I was
No.
thinking, doesn't matter. Teles is probably going to start. Can you imagine Zaha running at Teles? Terrifying.
Yeah.
Can you imagine Zaha running at? Yeah. Could you imagine Zaha running at Dallo? Frightening. Or Elise. Like I said, they could just swap sides. That's concerning, right? So,
Eze
they will
running
get
about, popping it
chances.
about, getting on a half turn, driving with the ball.
100%.
Conor
Dealing
Gallagher,
with
I don't think
Gallagher.
Conor Gallagher
Yeah.
played yesterday, did he? I don't think he did.
I'm not sure, but if he does play, that'll be his final game probably for Palace. Looks like he's likely to go back to Chelsea.
Another one.
So he's going to want to make a statement too. So they'll get chances, no doubt about it. Ronaldo might get his customary goal or opportunity, but I'm with you. I would be really, really surprised if we kept a clean sheet. Stunned, actually, if we did, because I do think they'll get a goal.
Conor Gallagher was on the bench yesterday and came on.
Yeah,
so they're saving him.
Saving him exactly. So I do think they'll score. And the thing is with Palace as well, isn't it? Again, if they get a goal and with how early we concede them usually as well, that place could be absolutely rocking. And it could be just very similar to the Brighton game, in all honesty, right?
Yeah.
In terms of they get a goal and game over, because then who knows how many they'll get, realistically.
And that's what I mean, because we will capitulate, and that 100% is it. If I look at, if I look at their team, they had a midfield three of Schlupp, Hughes, and Eze, and Eze played all right. Like I said, he was getting on a half turn, making things happen. Mateta, he's active. He gets about. He's decent in the air. He makes good runs. You know what Zaha's about. And Jordan Ayew is just that weird entity, which on any day he can do something. He's usually bang average, but possesses something in there where he can cause you problems. Is it if we lose and West Ham do win, but we say we end up in the conference on Sunday, is it an absolute catastrophe? Is it like, does it change much? I know we spoke about the positives of what being in the Europa League is, but if we end up in the conference, is it terrible?
Yeah, no, honestly, no, because we're talking about slightly different levels. Like I said, you would obviously prefer to be in the Europa League because it's the better competition. And if you win the Europa League next season, you qualify for the Champions League, which we spoke about earlier.
Yeah,
I think is going to be way more important than we probably think right now, because we do have to kind of come to this assumption that top four is nowhere near a given next season, nowhere near. And we might really need Europa League. We really might need it. And obviously, if you win the Conference League, you only qualify for the Europa League. So then it just becomes a trophy. If you're in the Conference League, it just becomes a trophy. It'll be good to win a trophy. If you're in Europa League, it does become a case of it's a way of sort of backdooring into the Champions League. So look, it would be disappointing, but it's such a cliche, but it is true. Like, the table really doesn't lie. If we finish 7th, it's because we deserve to be 7th, honestly. And it will be. And again, this is what's so weird about these competitions, because if we were in, say, the Europa Conference League final this year, and we were playing Mourinho's Roma, I'd be concerned. Why wouldn't you be? Why wouldn't you be concerned? Mourinho in a final. So it's not to say that you could, progress in that competition and then get a really difficult draw as well.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird because when you look at the teams that are in the latter stage, like you said, you get into a semi-final and playing Roma, like Leicester had to do. You're like, oh, that's tough. I know they got finaled in the final, Roma, but it's like it's even embarrassing if you go into the latter stages of that and don't win it. That's even worse.
Oh yeah, make no mistake. Make no mistake. And it's the same with the Europa League, in that regardless of which competition we're in terms of like the bookies, we will be the favorite for that competition because we're still Man United, And every game that we play in those competitions, that's going to be the biggest game, or one of the biggest European games that some of these teams have ever had. If we're going to these sort of, clubs in Liga that finish like, I don't know, 4th or 5th, that never get European football, whatever, that's going to be a massive, massive game for them. So, but ultimately, if we do end up in the Conference League, it's where we deserve to be. I do think it will be a bit of a blow in the sense of it's just another option that we don't have next season. And like I said, I really do think we could be in a position next season where we're like, okay, let's put our eggs in that Europa League basket, like we did under Mourinho. I think that's a real possibility.
To finish off, Owen, you can't dodge this now, because The reason why you can't dodge this, no, the reason why you can't dodge this is because it's the last game of the season. We know what our fate is in terms of only Europa League Conference League, so it doesn't matter. You don't do predictions, but you have to give them. No, Owen, no, come on, you have to do it. You have to give us a score prediction for this game. Even I'm doing one. It's the last game of the season, man. Come on.
Yeah, okay.
Come on.
So what's yours?
Mine is 3-0 Palace.
That's strong. I wasn't expecting you to go that strong.
Yeah, 3-1.
I was going to probably go.
Nah, I'm saying 3-0. Yeah, nah. 3-0. 3-0 Palace.
I was going to probably go 3-1 Palace, probably.
Okay.
Or 2. Yeah. I don't like predictions because I'm not good at them.
Yeah,
like
no
every
one
time.
is.
This is why I don't bet flex. If I do a bet, it's opposites.
Yeah, 100%.
So it's just pointless. So
this is a free bet. It costs you nothing, and nobody cares because it's the end of the season and we're shit. If we win 3-0, great. Then you get to say, "Oh, mate, I said we'd lose 3-0, and we didn't. We won. Great."
Yeah.
But
I can claim reverse psychology like you with Arsenal. See what I meant to do. I meant to be reverse psychologist. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So you're going 3-1. I'm going 3-0.
Yeah.
And quickly, City are going to beat Aston Villa, right?
Yeah, I think so. I do think so. I saw a thing, right? And I don't want to get too much into conspiracies or all that kind of stuff, right? But I saw a thing that was like the final Premier League day. It was a Sky thing. So final Premier League day. And the ribbons on the Premier League trophy were red.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah.
I will not be able to handle that if that happens. Because
they win that league.
I do think they'll win the Champions League. They're the favourites against Real Madrid. They are. That will be tough. And look, even City win the Premier League. It's tough anyway. It's not the best choices for us.
No, it's not.
We've got to hold on to something. Yeah. If that happens, like I said, I never, throughout the entirety of this season and in this entire process, I've never subscribed to the quadruple. I didn't think it was possible because I always hung on to City are going to win the league, so it doesn't matter. Or when Mendy saved that penalty against Liverpool in the FA Cup final, I was going, see, this is what happens. Because I was like, it's just not possible.
And they find a way every time, don't they?
I tell you now, West Ham last weekend, half-time, I'll say it, I was shitting myself. I felt sick. Physically, I think I sent a message to you going, I feel sick. Because it genuinely dawned on me. I was like, oh my God.
And then you get the Mahrez penalty because that pretty much seals the title. Because they could have been afforded to lose against Villa and still win the title if they would have won that game. And he couldn't get it done. And it still leaves it in their hands, but they have to get a W. Dude, yeah, it is.
Okay. I'm somewhat look, to be honest.
And they weren't great against Burnley yesterday as well.
No, that's what I was going to say.
They're not great.
Honestly, I think their best performance Villa was probably against us.
Yeah.
That second half or whatever. Apart from that, I've watched quite a few Villa games. I haven't been totally blown away.
Very underwhelming, but the Gerrard thing, the Coutinho thing, it's in the air thing, you just never know with football. Stuff.
I just hope sometimes with these last day of the seasons, obviously it can be dramatic. We know that as United fans. But sometimes it can be a case of like City 3-0 up in 30 minutes and you go, oh, it's over. And I would be hoping for that. That's what
something quick.
I want.
Yeah, because what could happen is Liverpool do their business against Wolves and it's still 0-0 at the Etihad, and you start getting all of that going on, and then it becomes very peak. But I don't know. But I think Liverpool would destroy Wolves fairly quickly. I think there could be a bit of drama at the Etihad. It might take a while to score, or 0-0 at half time, but Liverpool are 2-0 up. Oh, yeah. I think there's some drama left in this. Look at what happened last night. There's some drama left in this. And at the bottom end of the league, since this is our last match preview and stuff, I may as well talk a little bit about it. It's in Burnley's hands. They're at home to Newcastle. Same points, I think, as Leeds.
Yeah.
Leeds go away to Brentford. Huge. Just the goal difference is massive. So if it finishes as it is, they just have to match the result of Leeds.
Yeah. I honestly, again, half times they kill me off because half time last night in the Everton game, I really thought Everton was going down. Again, because I was looking at them playing Arsenal on Sunday, and I thought Arsenal have to win and hope that, again, talk about impossible happening. They have to hope that Spurs go to Norwich and lose, or is it they don't win? Whatever. I think so. I was thinking, they'll beat Everton definitely, and then
Spurs have to lose to Norwich, not even draw. They have to lose.
Exactly. So I was thinking they're not going to pick up points. So I was obviously, like everyone, shocked to see Everton pull it out.
Yeah.
Who do I think will go down? I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that Leeds beat Brentford, even though it's away and going to Brentford Stadium. Brentford have been really, really good this season, and they're particularly good at home. Probably looking at people like Christian Eriksen's last game for the club as well. So he'll be up for it. Leeds concede goals, but that game you do look and go, maybe Leeds could get a win in that one. Who are Burnley playing?
Burnley playing Newcastle.
And that's away, isn't it? Or is it home?
No, it's at home. It's at Burnley.
Newcastle, you never know. Even now, you never know away from home.
Yep, exactly.
I would
think
probably
Burnley can nick at least a draw, because I don't think Leeds beat Brentford. I know it's not a lot to say. They might have clocked off. They know they're safe. Everything's all right, but still their last home game, and they're pretty good at home. If they turn up and play, I think they beat Leeds.
Yeah,
but Burnley, I think,
and Leeds will concede.
Yeah,
Leeds will concede goals.
Leeds will concede.
Red card.
Look at what something will happen. But look at what Burnley done last night against Villa. They really, do you know what I mean? So
Mike Jackson's done a really good job. Let's be honest. When Sean Dyche got sacked, everyone went, "Well, they're definitely going down now." And even with their games in hand, they look miles off it, and they've picked up some really big results. Leeds,
exactly.
I just feel like they're not in the way that you could say Burnley are probably good enough defensively to nick a point or nick a win. Leeds probably aren't good enough defensively to nick a point or a win. That's probably the difference, I would say. I'll probably say Leeds get relegated. And I know, look, they're a rival of ours, but I did enjoy the Leeds games, not just because we won them, but I did enjoy the Leeds games because the atmosphere was really good. I thought the Ellen Road atmosphere was tremendous. It's a shame that would be missing, but
good. Get rid of him.
Table doesn't lie.
Exactly. Guys, smash a like on the video, subscribe if you are new to the channel, and remember, link is in the video description below to get your 19th of June tickets for our first birthday and 100k subscriber party from the O2 Arena in London at Toca Social. Make sure you guys get the tickets. Links in the video description below. We'll be we've got coverage tomorrow. Got a live match view of the Legends game. Owen will be doing that. You might get a couple other little surprises as well, so we'll have to wait and see what we can come up with for that. But yeah, live match view there from Owen. Make sure you guys keep him company. Watch some proper United players get into Liverpool. I've seen the teams. You know, you've got Berbatov in there. You've got Louis Saha. You've got Wes Brown. You've got Gary Neville. You've got Jaap Stam. You've got Andy Cole and Robbo as the assistant and assistant managers. You've got Valencia. Got the lungs in there running around. You've got Quinton Fortune, I think.
I saw Berbatov training today on the treadmill.
No shoes on, mate.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like that. And it was one of those curved ones. Like he's running up a hill. I was thinking, barefoot. I was like, this man's a maniac.
You looked I reckon after tomorrow's game, we're going to be looking at Berber saying, I'll tell you what. His touch, his touch is going to be proper.
Yeah, later on in his career, when he was saying like Fulham and then Monaco, you would just occasionally see these clips of him just doing something outrageous.
Got it.
You know, when people would go like, "Oh yeah, he doesn't run around," and then you would see somebody go, "He doesn't need to." Oh my god,
100%. So
I'm looking forward
to seeing that. That'd be nice to see Carragher against Neville. Hopefully, Carragher gets smashed by Neville, and there's a little bit, you know, and all the money goes to the Man United Foundation as well, which is fantastic cause. So yeah, keep Owen company for that, and we'll see you obviously live for the match views as well on Sunday for the game. We are out of it, guys. Take care. Peace.